So it's getting to be springtime, and it's time to start to clean up in here. My son's gonna get his car pretty soon. We'll have a little bit of room. So we're gonna get the QA50 down from upstairs. So you can see behind me in step one, my two big boxes back there are on wheels so that I can move them. I've rolled them out of the way, and let's go upstairs and get that bike down. So here's the view of one side of the shop, tractor outside for the moment, rolled my bike lift back, put the drill press up on a dolly for the moment to roll it out of the way, and we're gonna go upstairs into the loft. There's the gate, and there's my crane that I made. And even though if I wanted to, I could probably just pick up the QA50 and carry it down the stairs, I'm gonna use the crane, open up the gate, and just drop it down nice and slowly. Save my back. Let's get that going. And so here's how this works. I use my engine leveler to just basically rig up the bike, and these small bikes are easy. I then pivot the motorcycle out over the gap, which works out really well. And then I've got this long control cable that I made, and then using that, I'm going to lower it down. So in order to get this on video this time, I'm going to go downstairs and set up the camera, and then I'll come back and actually lower the bike. Okay, bike above me. I try not to walk underneath it like I just did. Using the controller, I get the bike to be in the direction I want it to be, and then it's just a matter of down we go. You gotta admit, that beats carrying that thing up and down those stairs. And then when I'm done, I just roll my cabinets back into place. So it's a lot easier when I don't have so much stuff in here, but for the winter months, I move things around and I'm good. And here we are all cleaned up on my bike lift to determine what to do with. So like I said, I've had this for a while. I think I bought it probably about 12 years ago. Very inexpensive, a couple of $100. I'm pretty sure I have a whole nother roller, frame, forks, and wheels upstairs. I might even have more parts than that. And taking a look at this thing, I'm trying to make the determination, do I just clean it up and leave it, or do I want to restore it? One way or the other. In the future, it's going up there next to my 74 Z50. This is a 74 QA50, and I'm going to be filling in the blanks on my 1974 Honda Cadillac. But taking a look at this, I'm pretty sure that this bike has been gone through before. And I say that because the forks look like they've been repainted maybe. Hard to tell, but I think I see a little bit of overspray on the boots. The cylinder head looks like it's been painted. When I get in here and take a look at the cases, and again, this is after sitting upstairs for at least the last 8 years. A little mouse activity here and there. I think the cases have been painted. The exhaust system is in pretty good shape. I'm impressed with that. Fuel line, as expected, solid as a rock. I'm going to take that off and put a new piece of fuel line on it just to see if it'll fire up. Tank is dry, clean on the inside. I had POR 15 that a while back, and it's in really, really good shape. I've got a great original seat on this bike with the original stencil. Going to leave that. Fenders have a couple of cracks here and there. One crack in that back fender, crack in the front. We'll see what we do about that. I think that's the only set that I have. But step number one here is I just want to see what I'm working with. So I'm going to put some air in the tires, and I think they hold air. I'm going to put a new piece of fuel line on there. I'm going to put in some ethanol-free fuel, not a lot. And actually I may just use my bottle over there and skip the tank and just see if this thing runs. And then I'm pretty sure this has the famous second gear problem. So I want to, before I tear into it, I want to just do a little running assessment. So that'll be next. So here we are, air in the tires. I've got my portable gas tank hooked up here, and I made sure there's oil in the engine, and the oil looks pretty good. So we're just going to kick it now and see what happens. So if you're a vintage motorcycle guy, you've seen the term ran when parked before. This bike is a classic example of a ran when parked. Geez, I wonder why I can't say that right. In any case, before I put it away, it was running. I drained the fuel, and my expectation is good old Honda reliability here. This thing is going to hopefully fire up, and if not, a little bit of carburetor cleaning to do. So I'll just turn the choke on, get a little bit of fuel in there, and switches on. Let's see what happens when we kick it over a couple of times. So much for ran when parked. You know, the beauty of these little bikes is that you can have the carburetor off in 2 minutes, and there's really nothing to it. Although going in there looks reasonably clean, but also pretty dry. So I don't think there was as much fuel in that float bowl as there should have been. I took the needle out. I'm gonna blow this out. I'm gonna clear out these other couple of jets here and just make sure everything is flowing right before I put it back together. All right, I cleaned it up a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back together. This really needs to be rebuilt. I'm not gonna rebuild it now because I just wanna see if I can get this thing running. But that float looks like it's 47 years old, and oh, it is. Carburetor rebuild kit, certainly something that we're gonna need, but let's just see if we can get the bike running. It's got plenty of spark, so I just dumped a little fuel in the cylinder. Let's see. Now we're getting somewhere. Come on. right, here we are back up on the lift. So, after all of that and a little consideration, I think what I'm going to do is actually restore this bike and bring it back pretty close to new. So that's going to cost a couple of bucks. And I'm going to have to rebuild the engine. So I rode it up and down the driveway. It seems to be, works okay. Transmission is a little clunky. Exhaust is a little bit loud, but not bad. And it pulled me around, and I tell you, it's a lot of fun. So we're going to start tearing into this thing soon. Stay tuned for the next episode.